This presentation will review the outcome measures. The same section that was used in the concept proposal phase will be used for the grant proposal phase. Since you have already completed a version of the outcome measures section for your concept proposal and should be familiar with how to complete it, we will do a quick review of the main requirements for the outcome measures and discuss completing the outcome measures form for the grant proposal phase application. As a reminder, this is an example of what the outcome measures application form will look like within Amplifund. Please select all of the outcome measures, indicators, and sub-indicators you believe are relevant for your application. If an outcome measure box is selected by mistake and you cannot deselect the box, please enter NA into the description of data collection methods text box, as they are required for each outcome measure you select. Before making any revisions to the outcome measures, we strongly encourage all applicants to review the administrative and technical feedback provided. This should provide a guide to the areas that could be improved with some revision. If you did not receive feedback to the specific outcome measures, this is a good opportunity to review the outcome measure or measures selected and ensure that they are still appropriate and realistic for the project. New outcome measures and/or indicators and sub-indicators may be selected in the grant proposal phase. However, CDFA cannot anticipate how substantial changes will be viewed by the Technical Review Committee. There are a few key points to keep in mind during the revision process. All outcome measures, indicators, and/or sub-indicators selected must be achievable within the grant duration. Recipients are required to report on all outcomes, indicators, and/or sub-indicators identified. Please do not overstate outcomes or select outcomes and indicators that cannot be reasonably achieved within the grant duration to improve the likelihood of funding. This is important to keep in mind because failure to successfully achieve outcome measures may adversely affect an applicant's ability to receive funding in the future. All projects must select at least one outcome measure and associated indicator and/or sub-indicator. All numerical estimates provided should be reasonable. The number of outcomes or indicators selected is not a factor in the scoring criteria, and the content provided should be appropriate, necessary, and responsive to the intended purpose of the form. Even though this is the same format that was used in the concept proposal phase, there is still sometimes confusion regarding the information that should be provided in the description section of the outcome measures form. This is the section entitled Description of Data Collection Methods. The content provided in this description section should pertain only to how the selected outcome measure and indicator will be measured, monitored, and reported. This section should not include information regarding how work plan objectives or other aspects of the project will be measured, monitored, or reported that are not related to the outcome measure. Should a grant be awarded, recipients will be required to report on the selected outcome measures separately from the work plan objectives provided in the project objectives and work plan template. In addition, each outcome measure must have a unique response for the data collection methods. Do not include responses such as see previous description or same as above if multiple outcome measures are selected. For each outcome measure, we recommend that applicants reread the selected outcome, indicator, and sub-indicator to confirm that the response specifically addresses the outcome measure as written without altering the meaning. And note that indicator 1.5b is the only outcome measure that asks for a percentage. Do not include a percentage for any other outcome measure, as this would be considered an amendment. Here are a few things to keep in mind regarding the following outcome measures. Remember that indicator 1.5 is mandatory for all proposals submitted under the Grown in California funding category, or for marketing and promotion projects that focus their efforts to sell, advertise, promote, market and generate publicity, attract new customers, or raise customer awareness for specialty crops or a specialty crop venue, regardless of the funding category under which the proposal is submitted. At least one of the sub-indicators, A, B, or C, must be selected. In addition, for outcome measure 1, indicator 1.5, the specific sub-indicator selected must be expressed as either a dollar value, percentage change, or combination of volume and average price as a result of the marketing and/or promotion activities. It is necessary to measure actual sales figures resulting from marketing efforts against an established baseline to evidence an increase in sales. For projects that don't already have a baseline of sales, one of the objectives of the project must be to determine a baseline during the grant period. Indicators should measure the adoption of the recommended practices as a result of project activities. Please note this does not mean the intention to adopt the recommended practices, but rather the outcome measure requires the number of the recommended practices actually adopted. This also applies to the number of innovations adopted. The intention to adopt a practice or innovation is not sufficient to be counted. The beginning farmer is an individual or entity that has not operated a farm or ranch for more than 10 years and substantially participates in the operation. And a socially disadvantaged farmer is a farmer who is a member of a socially disadvantaged group. A socially disadvantaged group is a group whose members have been subject to discrimination on the basis of race, color, national origin, age, disability, and where applicable, sex, marital status, familial status, parental status, religion, sexual orientation, genetic information, political beliefs, reprisal, or because all or part of an individual's income is derived from any public assistance program. This concludes the outcome measures presentation. Please give us a moment to look over some of the questions that we have received, and we will return shortly. Thank you.